If growth continues at its recent pace, we expect a further 291 million people to move out of poverty. This is going to happen over the next 2 decades. Most of these farmer poor will move into the class we call the aspirants, households earning between 90,000 to 2 lakh rupees, $1,969 to $1,969 to $4,376 per annum. Aspirants are typically small shopkeepers, farmers with their own modest land holdings, or semi-skilled industrial and service workers. Their lives are not easy, but aspirants generally have enough food and might own items such as small television, a propane stove and an electric rod for heating water. They spend about half of their income on basic necessities. Many of their other purchases are bought second-hand or in that Indians call the informal economy. Over the next 20 years, this group will shrink from 41% of the population to 36%, as many of them move up into middle class. The middle class currently numbers some 50 million people, but by 2025 will have expanded dramatically to 583 million people, some 41% of the population. These households will see their incomes balloon to 51.5 trillion rupees, that is $1.1 billion, 11 times the level of today at 58% of total Indian income. This is the real scenario which is going to come. As Indian incomes rise, the shape of the country's income pyramid will also change dramatically. More than 291 million people will move from desperate poverty to a more sustainable life, adding a number of first-time consumers to the market. Since 1990, the country's economy has grown on an average of 5.7% per year. Its per capita income has nearly doubled in real terms. As estimated, 1.2 million affluent households sit atop the Indian income and consumption pyramid. These consumers buy branded products and behave like their counterparts in developed markets. Moreover, they are largely concentrated in the top 8 cities. At the bottom of the pyramid are the large but poor segments. Struggling households number more than 100 million, followed by 40 million destitute households that are poorer still. The real drivers of the growing consumer goods market occupy the center of the pyramid. India's 40 million middle income households which purchase more than just basic. I remind you that I was quoting McKinsey's report. The report goes on to state that India is still too poor by global standards, with most people living on less than $1 per day for mass market retailers to rush in. In addition, India is a diverse country with 23 official languages and more than 1,000 dialects. Despite having a large consumer base that is growing steadily, the market is complex and the propensity and capacity for Indian consumers to spend depends on a unique combination of price and value. The historical pattern in India and in most developing economies shows that as income rise, consumers spend proportionately less on basic necessities. The connectivity, communication and literacy transformation that India is undergoing through over the past decade has been a major driver of growth, consumer demand and higher aspiration levels. The population demographic profile also plays a role. Indians constitute a fifth of the world's citizens below age 30, below age 20. As these groups join the consuming classes, the consumer goods market in India is bound to present the greatest opportunity in the world for entrepreneurs. creating growth opportunities for the next 800 million, and manufacturing and marketing products to them are two sides of same coin and can be encapsulated in two words: inclusive growth. Let us not lose sight of that. That alone can ensure that these sections can be drawn to the economic mainstream. As you are aware, even though India has made tremendous strides in many areas, it is an accepted fact that fruits of economic progress have not been dispersed as widely as they should have been. As a result, while India is doing well in some areas and in some sectors, there is a vast population in the rural hinterland which is yet to share in progress being made by the country. It is not a coincidence that Naxalite activities in the tribal belt spread across central and eastern India, where it feeds on poverty and a sense of deprivation and alienation. The economic challenges mentioned by me earlier were the product of economic liberalization initiatives in the early 90s. But for growth to be more inclusive, we need two key constraints. One, because of gaps in the physical infrastructure, roads, power, ports, etc. And second, created by inadequacies in our social infrastructure, health, education, skill population. Together, these represent also a broader challenge of ensuring good government so that we can ensure growth, equity and accountability. Despite huge investments in our infrastructure as well as in the key sectors of education and health, public services are still not delivering quality services to the poorest of the poor. As a result, while the rich are opting out from government schools and government hospitals and turning to private health and education providers who are priced out from such premium services and have to make do with the creaking infrastructure and shoddy services that the public institutions provide. In developmental literature, there is much debate about why rising GDP and rising incomes in India have been seemingly unconstrained so far by the lack of more visible improvements in the performance of the institutions of government, the legislature, the executive and the judiciary. The consensus appears to be that the dismantling of this license permit rag has unlocked latent talents of our people and has led to spur economic growth, while the inherent strength of our democratic institutions, which we inherited post-independence from our founding fathers, have also stood us in good stead so far. However, the differential growth rates across states do reflect to a significant extent differences in the quality of governance in the state. That is what I am doing now, because as a chairman of the administrative reforms, I always believe that unless you destroy something, you cannot create something. We have to create that governance culture in this country, and unless the government culture is developed, all this kind of a bureaucratic delay, the red tapeism, and all that obstacle which has been, that will be a big hindrance, behind the growth, and also for providing justice. That's why today we are attending to that, so that the corruption, will definitely perpetuate in the environment of insecurity, in the environment of fear, and in the environment of bureaucratic hurry. So this is what we are determined, and Dr. Manmohan Singh is very keen that we do attend. We have already given 9 reports. Yesterday I have given a report on social capital, other day I have given a report to combat terrorism and also to resolve the conflicts at various places. And my next report is on civil services reform. Even though the British, but their colonial regime has continued. But the British, this is what we observe and observe. You clap it, but I have a lot of problem in getting through this report. I am struggling since 2 years to get my views imprinted, my views, because I know that we have to get into the new culture of governance regime. And that's why I must tell you that it is only day before yesterday I succeeded to get my draft